Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm in the office, I'm just chilling. Got the laptop open. It's Monday night. Let's do another episode of California Gangsters. We're going to start chapter 2. We just finished off chapter 1. This is the first book in a series of novels that I've written about the Los Angeles Syndicate. The first book starts off in the early 70s. Our main character is Simon Castro. He just graduated from college and he was a football star on the college football team at USC. And instead of joining the NFL and going into the draft and taking that route, he decided to go and work for his father. Now his father is a gangster. And Simon comes from a gangster family. So let's jump into it. I got the pistol. Got a little pocket holster. If you're going to put a gun like this, it's perfect for your pocket. This fits right in my front pocket. It's got no little hammer or anything. And when you pull it out, the holster stays in your pocket, ideally. But I like to put the pocket holster because if you carry every single day, all the time, which if you conceal carry, I suggest you carry all the time, you will wear a spot out in your pants. So pocket holster is a useful item. Let's jump into it. Chapter 2, my Uncle Frank. I showed up the next evening as ordered to a small restaurant bar off Melrose Avenue in the Fairfax district. It was called the Snake Room. I was there to meet my Uncle Frank for the first night of work. The bar was dusty and the kitchen was empty. I was a little taken back by the dingy atmosphere and wondered why my uncle was set up in such an awful looking place. The front door was thick metal slab that had been painted many times over. It had each odd shape of the past poking through with a history-filled kaleidoscope of color. One of my uncle's goons was lurking around out front of the building, doing security and chain-smoking cigarettes with a pile of butts at his feet. Entering the Snake Room was literally like taking a walk through a time warp. One would never know what year or era it was outside until you walked back out on the street again and saw the modern cars driving by. The place had the smell of smoke, mold, and decades of spilled liquor on the carpet. The inside was poorly lit, with old wooden tables in the dining area and a long bar along the back wall. The mirror behind the bar was yellow and faded. It was impossible to see any sort of reflections through it any longer. There was an old Italian man behind the bar gazing off into the distance, as if he was pondering the meaning of life. Several of my uncle's men stood around the bar with a couple of guys at the tables, drinking, smoking cigars, and just chatting softly about business or politics. When I walked through the bar, I could instantly tell that all the eyes in the room were on me. I was being sized up by every single motherfucker in that building. I scanned the place like Clint Eastwood entering an Old West saloon. I was obviously bigger in stature than anyone in the place, but I was the youngest and the most unexperienced. I felt confident that I could snap any one of their necks if I felt like it. But I didn't know what any of these guys were capable of. Lucky for me, I'm a Castro, and my uncle was the boss of this crew. I only got smiles and nods as I walked up to the end of the bar. It felt exactly like the day that I showed up for my very first practice at USC, nervously walking in the locker room full of glaring eyes, with each man questioning my worth, my skill, or my merit. My Uncle Frank was a capo on the West Side, a boss of his own crew with the LA family. He had been a big-time jewel thief and a bank robber in his younger days, and a street thug coming up. They used to call him Frankie Fingers, but most guys now call him Cadillac Frank because he owns a Cadillac dealership down in Culver City. Frank went to federal prison for keeping his mouth shut on a string of robberies he did with his crew. He was sentenced to 10 years in Leavenworth, but got put on diesel therapy for getting in trouble and moved around the entire country. He was eventually released from USP Lompoc, just north of Santa Barbara. When he got out, he was given his own crew, and the rest is history. And Frank was a good earner for the LA crime family. And he was a real tough guy from the block, which made him very popular amongst other made guys. Having a last name like Castro and an older brother who was the underboss also helped out a lot. My Uncle Frank came out of the back office from a little door behind the bar and said, "Hey kid, your pop told me that you're going to be on the payroll now. Me and you are going to collect some money from a gambling debt tonight. Sound fun? I'm going to teach you the game. I'm going to teach you how the game is played from the beginning. Simon, are you ready to put in some work for the LA family? Here's my keys. You're going to drive." I replied, "I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Does collecting mean breaking legs? I can do that, no problem. I've been doing that for the last 4 years. I used to snap guys in half on the field. I bet all your bookies are a bunch of little pussies." Frank, along with everyone in the room, stopped and looked at me for 2 long seconds, and then burst into laughter like I was Richard Pryor telling jokes. Frank looked around the room at his guys laughing and said, "Get a load of the balls on this kid, huh? The size of fucking boulders. Good show, kid. This is the sort of enthusiasm that we like on the West Side. I can tell that you're going to go far in this life. Come on, let's leave out the back door." All right, let's stop there. This goes right into some good stuff, but we'll do that next Monday. Thanks for watching.